Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Ray Donovan. Quite a few things went down this episode, so let's break everything down. So it's interesting we have Ray in that whole Anita situation, him just kind of being so casual, like, the dude's dead on the floor, and just Ray takes his seat, and it's just kind of like, I mean, he's not hopping to it because it's just like, well, Ray did just kind of get his ass kicked at the end of the last episode. So he's still a little beaten and bruised and just kind of tired. And it's just kind of like, here I am. Literally stepped away and walked away from this situation. And now I found myself getting dragged back into it because it's like, once again, I brought it up last episode. He started off with this doing one thing, trying to help McGrath, and that kind of spiraled into all this. I love that Sam kind of set this all in motion because she's the one that gave Anita the address. Because that was the thing I was wondering too. Because later on, she's like, okay, I'll admit it, Ray. Last night's events, kind of my fault. It's like, you have the resources. Why'd you let Anita handle it? I feel like, I mean, to be fair, I guess like Ray would be your guy in that situation, but she didn't have her guy to go to. But I feel like you have enough reach and power to kind of get other people to do it. But I guess it's like, you're working with Ray and you thought, he can handle things. But since he wasn't really working with you, like under those circumstances again, that's why she didn't really have anyone to go to. I don't know. But Ray literally walks out the room and everything, tells Anita later on to like, don't leave. But she doesn't get liquor. And I'm like, dude, that's going to be the linchpin that probably screws everything up. Because she left in that time frame. There's probably going to be security cameras. Because he even told her to wipe the blood off her face. That means when she went to go get drinks, she probably had blood on her face. And it's just like, dude, that's probably going to circle back and screw them over. Because it's like, I especially told you not to go anywhere, but you did. She was almost being like, yeah, I kind of wasn't expecting you to go back. I love that Ray ended up buying all those supplies and stuff. The shop dude at the hardware store is like, what are you going to do? Cut up a body? And Ray's like, what? Because it kind of caught him off guard that the guy's even suggesting, like, wait, what? I just love that reaction. But like I said, Ray's kind of in that bad place of just kind of like, he's trying to balance so much out because he's trying to help out McGrath because McGrath's been a friend for him. McGrath was there for him, when he was lost and kind of like had nowhere, nothing to really go for him. So, and, kind of try to get a fresh start. But, so to help out that friend, he, like I said, kind of went to Sam, and now Sam's got him doing this. He ends up killing that dude that's trying to get the whole McGrath thing going on, because it turns out Mac planted evidence on him. The reason why he took him to that specific precinct is because with the drug situation, he knew that the judge would kind of be like, no, on that situation, would go harsher on him. But it's like the dude beats up his wife. He's kind of a piece of shit in general. So Mac is kind of like, okay, I'm willing to cross that line because of that. It's kind of interesting because it's like Ray just up and abandoned his plan because he had everything ready, and then Matt called and he changed everything. It's like, okay, so give me some coke and a gun with a silencer. Didn't get the silencer, but Ray being Ray improvised, used the dude's own jacket to silence the gun when he shot him. It's kind of like pretty damn brutal. It kind of sucks with Anita's situation because it seems like she's almost kind of like that situation of like, oh, you kind of think you're not capable of something and then something happens. But you see it almost like as she's walking, she sees like the sign with her on top of a taxi that's got her face on it, because it turns out she was about to quit until Sam called, because she went from 8th to 2nd place because of Sam, which we now found out later on, like Sam was acquiring her deal now that Doug is dead. She can kind of go through, the deal was able to go through. She needs to buy up some property, but the prison's built on top of it, trying to pay off getting, the property, but the mayor won't budge. Hence why she's trying to get Anita elected, because it's like, hey, maybe she'll be a lot more malleable, especially because I helped get her to where she is right now. So, and plus Sam has this dirt on her too. So that's going to exploit her in that regard as well. So, which we saw what happened the last time Sam exploited, blackmailed. Kind of what happened in that regard doesn't, always turn out, kind of gets stuff aimed back at her, but we'll see whether Anita kind of goes down that route or not. I was actually kind of surprised that Ray actually opened up to Sam like he did, because he told her about the whole Abby situation, because like what went down at the end of season 5 being like, he was just tired of everything, It's just kind of like, he doesn't think without Abby here, he kind of feels like he has nothing left. And that's just kind of seems like why he's kind of just caught in this like situation right now. Cause it's almost like he's floating from one thing to another, just because he's lost without Abby. Abby kind of gave him direction and kind of feels like, what's the point? Which is like, which kind of even gets even sadder because it's like apparently your brothers and your kids might are not enough reason just because it's like Abby was at she was that light for him, and it's just like without her, like I said, he's just lost and kind of wondering. So I don't know. Part of me wonders is things not going to go out the way Ray thinks they will with that whole situation of framing that drug deal going wrong situation with the whole Anita situation. Just because I feel like Ray's not at the top of his game and stuff like that. But like I said, we'll see. I was halfway expecting things to kind of go wrong for whatever reason. I was thinking like Home Dude brought someone with them, and then like they'd walk in with the whole situation. Because we do know that someone was following McGrath. Either that's a reporter, but I highly doubt it. It's probably someone from IA, Internal Affairs. He's probably getting viewed, and probably people are probably paying him. Goes, oh, why did you check this out? He's like, isn't this the same? Blah 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 blah. Probably put connections there. So one thing happens and it kind of spirals to other events in this show. So it does beg the question, like, what's going to happen with that whole McGrath situation? I'm getting the inkling, like, yeah, things aren't going to end well. Like, that's my early assumption that person watching him was IA. So which is going to be interesting considering Ray's connection. Once again, I think I talked about this before. Like, obviously, Ray being who he is, and now he's got a cop, being buddy-buddy with a cop is so interesting. But to be fair, when it comes to his relationship with law enforcement, it's usually him blackmailing people. Like, him and McGrath are in this bond of friendship of, like, just being friends. But also, it's like, yeah, they're kind of caught in this dirty situation. Like, he helped Mac out. But part of me's worried that eventually this is going to get to the point where, like, we already see that Mac is dirty, that he might start turning to Ray for other stuff. Obviously, he was reluctant, but part of me thinks the reason why he came to Ray is because he knew, like, he was there for Ray when Ray was at his lowest, and he's like, he knows that Ray, being who he is going to feel indebted to him. So we might be seeing him kind of manipulating Ray as things go forward. He might be manipulating Ray right now. I don't know. Because his whole, like, are you sure about this, Ray? You don't have to do this. I feel like that's not sincere, but I could be 100% wrong. We kind of have to see where that ends up going. All the while, like, yeah, obviously there's the Bridget and Smitty situation. That shocked me, him being like, because I love it, you kind of like, he's about to propose. You can tell he's pulling the ring out and everything. It's like, I love you. Not only did you save me, you gave me a reason to live, which I guess is kind of the whole point, because it's like Smitty's in his situation and then Ray's literally on the opposite end of things, of kind of like feeling like he doesn't have a reason to live. But Smitty proposes and Rachel's like, I said Rachel, geez, Bridget's like, what the fuck? And he's like, why are you getting so mad? And even I was like, I wasn't expecting that reaction. I was kind of think you were going to be like, no. I think no would have been better than just that, which is interesting because later on she tells everyone she said yes. I guess like in between we cut away from her, at some point she did say yes because she saw that Mickey cared about her so much. But I guess it's like, because for her, it's just kind of like the man in her life. I mean, I'm guessing it's also just because, like, yeah, when you look at the grand scheme of things of Bridget's past relationships, not the best thing. Men in her life, and I guess that includes her family too, not really the best in that situation either. But Smitty's like, I'm not like them. I'll never hurt you or leave you. So I don't know. That was kind of interesting. I was wondering if Ray was really okay with it. It's like, kind of like, yeah, he seems like a cool dude. He likes you and you like him. But the way he talks to Terry later on is like, they're young. So it'll happen. It'll be all awesome and everything. And then it'll fizzle out. So, but it's like, yeah, because him and Bridget are in a weird place. So for him, it's like, he just wanted to kind of say something to like make it so that he didn't push her away. Like, it's like, got bridge that gap again. But to be fair, Bridget calling him up and letting him know that, I think that was because Bridget was probably kind of hoping that Ray would kind of talk her out of it, kind of be more of the parent. But for him, it's like, yeah, like, your mom would probably know what to say under these circumstances. I don't. But for him, it's just like, me and your mom, all we want you to do is be happy. So, and then on top of all that, we had the whole situation with Mickey, like many different things. Like, first of all, let's talk about Daryl's situation out at lunch. And then, like, it's the what was her name? The actresses that's with them, Hughes. She's kind of like, like, where'd you find this guy? And Jay's like, yeah, I murdered somebody and this guy blackmailed me and now I'm working on a shitty movie. And then him, Antoine, and everyone just kind of laughs because she's thinking it's a joke, and I'm like, wow, he says that was super messed up for you to do that, but okay. What I thought was interesting though is like Bunchy obviously gets the call. He was about to go after, go get his daughter, which it is Teresa. I figured as much. This seemed like it was a custody battle and everything. Because the last time we left off, things weren't good between Bunchy and Teresa because they found out, Bunchy found out that Teresa had cheated on him. So that kind of, because later on it's like, oh yeah, she took, my daughter away from me because I drank too much or my family problems. Is kind of interesting considering the fact is that Teresa kind of already knew about the family situation for a while now. But I mean, it's so interesting considering the fact is Teresa kind of had her situation, wasn't that back in season 4, where she was kind of very distant towards the baby and everything, but eventually things kind of like, I think it was like a postpartum depression type of thing. So, but now it's just a combination of many different things. It's just kind of like where the family is now too, losing Abby probably hurt because like I said, like Abby was a heart for this family. Like she was the person like everyone in the family, especially amongst the Donovans can turn to. Like she had everyone's back. It's like if something went down, like she'd have each of the siblings' backs. And now it's like they're kind of all, like I said, not just Ray, everyone's kind of lost. The entire family's kind of broken to an extent. And so, and that's the most interesting thing about this, because obviously we saw like it's kind of like even further behind them, like the whole Abby situation. So now it's like, how is everyone in the family getting along without her? Like obviously they're kind of doing their thing, but it kind of seems like everyone else is spiraling, especially Bunchy. That whole scene at the hospital was kind of interesting because even Bunchy's like, yeah, my dad's kind of a piece of shit. Like, I mean, you might think he is, but all the stuff that he's been through, and yeah, he might have raised a firm hand, and maybe he didn't always do things the right way, and maybe he cheated on my mom. It's like saying all the crappy stuff that Mickey's done, and the fact of the matter is, if you kind of cross him, he'd probably kill you. But the thing is, he loves me. And for Bunchy, that's the saddest thing. Bunchy feels like he doesn't have anyone right now. He doesn't really have his brothers, like it just seems like subsequently, like everyone else is off doing their own thing. He's kind of alone. He lost his daughter, him and Teresa in a bad place, doesn't have, like he doesn't have anyone to turn to. And it seems like that's kind of his main motivation for helping Mick out. I was thinking like, oh, he's going to stop at the hardware store, get Mick like a saw or something that like the moment the guard, like I was like, oh, you make the guard go to the bathroom again and then Mick escapes. I thought that was going to be the whole thing. But it turns out not to be the case at all. The fact of the matter is Bunchy literally knocked the prison guard out with a hammer, which is like, dude, Mickey is such a piece of crap because it's like, yeah, I get it. You didn't kill Barnes and you're not about to go to prison for life because of that whole situation. But still, the fact of the matter is, you're dragging your other kid into it, especially Bunchy, because Bunchy's kind of like the most confused amongst them just because like I feel like amongst everyone, like each of the siblings had their own problems throughout everything. But I feel like Bunchy's always kind of had it pretty damn rough. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem right, And now Daryl is worried because Daryl's like, he escaped, and now, Mickey's going to come kill me, which he made a promise to Ray, like, oh, he was going to come after Ray. So now they're both a target. Because I even love the whole situation of like Terry being like, oh, maybe we should go see him, make sure we have no regrets. And Ray's like, I have no regrets. Do you? And Terry's like, no. And he's like, good. So fuck him. Because it's like, yeah, their dad's a big piece of crap. It's like, even if you didn't do this one terrible thing, it's like, you literally led everything to being where it is because you couldn't, you just let things kind of spiral out of control. And it's like, that's why the Barnes situation turned into what it did. Rather than just letting Ray handle it, you try to take things in your own hand. Like, the only reason why Daryl killed him in the first place was because he was trying to protect you and everything. So it's just kind of like, but it's going to be interesting because it's probably going to create an even bigger divide because Bunchy, I don't know if Bunchy knows that whole situation was Ray and Daryl. I mean, Daryl kind of turned on him, but I don't know if Bunchy knows that for sure. Because at first I was like, oh yeah, Daryl's kind of reluctant. Because it's interesting because amongst all the siblings, I'd say Bunchy and Daryl are the closest to their dad. Terry and Ray are the ones that were most likely to give him the middle finger and walk away. It's like, yeah, you die, I don't care. Because even Ray was kind of like, oh man, is he dead? Like, there is a part of Ray that does still care in some twisted way. He always has. It's interesting considering the fact of the matter is this is the second time he sent his dad to jail for something he didn't do. Right? Wasn't that whole thing back in season 1? Yeah, that whole thing was, something he didn't do too, right? Like the whole reason why he was in Warple in the first place. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I've seen the earlier seasons. But nevertheless, so there's all that on that front. So I'm so interested to see where that kind of like what that ends up turning into. All this while Daryl is balancing, like, oh yeah, trying to do the movie. Also, we got Connor in this episode too. Like, apparently he's going to be in Jamaica. Not God, Jamaica. Well, I don't know why he said that. Germany. Jeez, I'm being stupid. He's going to be positioned in Germany like in the next month. And it's like, Daryl's like, why are you doing this? The whole Marine thing. He's like, if I don't, because someone has to do it. Because to me, like, that was kind of the whole thing of him doing it last season because he wants to prove, I think, not just stuff to his dad, because it's like, because last it was like, oh, you think I'm a pussy. Like, that was the whole thing. So it's like, it doesn't seem like he's trying to do this for some greater purpose or anything like that. It seems more like he just wants to show people as well as himself that he can do it. Even, I guess maybe also his justification for it could be like, yeah, that basically I can go my own way. I don't have, I can be my own man type of thing. Once again, kind of like having your own selfish reasons, which is like, I don't know. We'll see in the long run what ends up happening with that. But, it's definitely interesting to see where that'll kind of go with everybody's, story this season. Ray is going to be working with Sam, continuing that. So I even love Sam being like, I'm glad you're alive, Ray. And and immediately following that by, we're going to make a mayor. It's kind of like, yeah, it kind of takes away from your sincerity when it's kind of like, oh yeah, glad you're alive, just because it's like, man, we're going to do great work together. So there's that. So Ray's going to probably get back into fighting shape, essentially. It's kind of what I was kind of halfway expecting him to show back up at Terry's and start training again, but we'll see. I'm curious to see what they end up doing with everything between him and Lena, especially because it's like she helped him out last episode and everything, but will anything go beyond that? What this whole storyline with Anita ends up turning out to be. What about Sam? Once again, I bring it up. Sam is literally the only like main character of a seasonal arc to ever come back, and it stupefies me. Which once again, it's Susan Sarandon, and I really like her as Sam. I think this is the first TV show I've ever seen Susan Sarandon in. I'm sure she's done TV in the past, but it's like she's one of those actors like I mainly know you from movies, so it kind of catches me off guard seeing you in TV shows. So I'm curious to see in the long run though what happens. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good